Hello, and welcome back to my ePortfolio. In this video, we will be taking a look at the first industry-specific software in our Hort 120 class, DynaScape. Industry-specific software is software specifically designed for the landscape industry, opposed to non-industry specific software which is used universally in a wide range of industries, including architecture, interior design, and manufacturing, just to name a few. Industry-specific software directly caters to the landscape industry, including tools like plant lists, hardscape materials, and site amenities for the outdoors. DynaScape, unlike AutoCAD, has a specific plant tool to label various trees and shrubs. The trees and shrubs are also placed as figures rather than as object shapes and have proper landscape notation to them rather than just circles of many sizes and colors. Upon placing the figure, DynaScape has the option to rotate, resize, and angle the object before setting it in place. AutoCAD has separate tools to perform these actions. Industry-specific software also has landscape tools like labels and a wider variety of hatch patterns to symbolize pavers and other surfaces. DynaScape even has some specific hardscape material brands built into it. In AutoCAD, all blocks must be imported, but in DynaScape, there is already a wide variety of site furnishings. These tools prove useful for landscape designers, but are unnecessary in other industries. Like in AutoCAD, model space is where all the drawing is done in a one-to-one scale, using real-world measurements. This is done by importing the background image and scaling it to make sure it is in a one-to-one scale. Scaling in DynaScape is easier than AutoCAD because you can pick 2 points for the known distance and specify the length. The known length was the door frame, and it was scaled to 3 feet. Then the rest of the drawing is scaled proportionately to it. Moving the scaled image in DynaScape is more complex than in AutoCAD because we had to draw a box around the image and then move it. In DynaScape, images are automatically locked and cannot be selected to move, so the box had to be drawn in order to move it. AutoCAD and DynaScape differ in their paper spaces. In AutoCAD, there is a separate paper space that the completed drawing is moved to and then scaled. But in DynaScape, the paper size and scale is selected before the drawing is started. Like in AutoCAD, all the drawing and importing of figures was done on DynaScape's model space, but the larger differences come in their paper spaces. Another difference between DynaScape and AutoCAD is the polyline function. The polyline in DynaScape is superior to AutoCAD's because the arc function is built into the grip edits of the polyline. Rather than having a separate arc tool, the middle grip edit of the DynaScape polyline functions as the apex of the arc. First you set the 2 endpoints of the arc, and then edit the middle one to get those smooth curves. This is superior to AutoCAD where you have to guess the midpoint and adjust it later. The DynaScape polyline serves the same function of selecting the whole object instead of multiple objects, which was useful in drawing the border inside of the objects for the hatch pattern. We created those closed boundaries on the temp layer to give the hatch pattern a place to fill, and then after the layer was turned off, the whole area was filled in. This was done to prevent the hatch pattern from overlapping figures such as plants and the 4-person table and chairs. Just like in AutoCAD, the polyline was also used to draw curvilinear lines in the gravel pathway, flagstone path and patio, and mulch beds. DynaScape's layers are different from AutoCAD's because they are already preloaded in the software. DynaScape comes with a bunch of layers already built in with space to add more layers as necessary. The layers can be toggled on and off, and there are 2 color options, one for the model color and one for the output or print color. DynaScape has a menu to revise the layers and move objects to them if they are on the wrong layer. When drawing in DynaScape, each figure was already on the right layer color, and it did not have to be moved to the correct layer like in AutoCAD. Having everything pre-coordinated with the layer was helpful because it made it easy to tell if you were drawing on the wrong layer. In AutoCAD, we used circles and downloaded blocks in our drawings which indicated purpose, scale, and style. The downloaded blocks were from a website that was AutoCAD friendly and were imported into the drawing and had to be scaled to size. We used circles of various sizes and colors to represent different plant material. In DynaScape, all the plants and furniture were in the figures library. We did not have to go to an outside website and import them. Everything is already in the software. This was especially useful for plants and trees because each different style of plant symbolized a different plant in real life. Plants in DynaScape varied in styles and complexities and all had different plant symbols. Shrubs, trees, and perennials were all very fast and easy to place in DynaScape and were all colored for their respective layer. Another tool unique to DynaScape is the plant label tool. This is useful for labeling trees and shrubs to designate what each type represents in the drawing. The label tool can auto-count clusters of shrubs. Clusters of shrubs are a group of the same variety of shrubs placed closely together and tend to overlap with each other. The cluster tool groups all of them together and gets rid of the intersecting lines. The cluster can then be auto-counted with the plant label tool and labeled as such. DynaScape has an online database of plants to choose from, which helps in labeling to fill the details in for the plant list. The plant list is another unique feature to DynaScape. This takes all the plant labels and compiles them together in one table with plant data. Another type of label is the hardscape label, which labels different hardscape spaces. Overall, using an industry-specific software definitely has some advantages over a non-industry specific software. AutoCAD was definitely the simpler interface to learn and was more user-friendly, but once I spent some time in DynaScape, I preferred it over AutoCAD. The plant labels and shapes were extremely easy to work with. One little difference I liked in DynaScape was that the cursor extended over the full screen, which made it easier to make sure the lines stay square without having the snaps turned on. Overall, DynaScape has some quirks to it, but I still prefer it to AutoCAD.